Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining Unlocking Your Adaptive 7 Ways Forward. Today is going to be all around reporting. I am JP, a solution consultant working for Revelwood. And Revelwood is a global Workday Adaptive Planning partner. And this webinar series, we have really created this to show you quick ways to make your planning more efficient and impactful. And today is going to be on reporting. So really, in the next 50 minutes, we'll explore how you can get the most out of your reporting in Workday Adaptive Planning. And whether you're working in HTML reports or dashboards or OfficeConnect, think of this session really as a guided tour of these three main reporting tools. And really what I want to do is showing how they complement each other rather than compete. And also I just really want to highlight where you can apply either HTML reporting or dashboarding or OfficeConnect to your specific reporting use cases. So today, 3 sections. I'll start with HTML reports, then I'll move to dashboarding, and then I'll move to OfficeConnect. And just to briefly share with what we feel where you can apply these best. So with HTML reports, they are ideal if you are in a budgeting process or forecast process and you want to do checks and analysis along the way, but also very useful for things like version comparison and really drilling down into variances. So that's HTML. Dashboarding is really good for a visual presentation of your data. So KPIs, column charts, graphs, pie charts, waterfalls, that sort of thing, but also really suitable to combine your data input with your data output. So for scenario planning, this is a really, really good option. And then the third one, last one, OfficeConnect. What we see is that it's typically used to distribute reports to a lot of stakeholders and to stakeholders who are very familiar with a certain formatting within the Office product. So we do see that. That's the typical use case for OfficeConnect. So moving into the demonstration part. What I want to show you today are some tips and tricks and some good uses of reporting. And I want to start with notes. I think they're typically useful to explain, to have some explanation behind the numbers. And you can show cell notes within reports. So what we see here on this maintenance row, we see in the working budget that there's a note in 2026, and we can also look at the cell notes in the bottom of the report. But you can also show the cell notes in columns or in line in the report. And where you set that up is in the settings of the report, and it is in the report properties on the right top corner on the notes section. So what you can do is you can show them in line, in columns, as footnotes, and don't forget to check this box. If you want to create a note and explain, for instance, a variance on a report or explain something else, then it's also possible to add a note to a particular line. Don't forget to save the report, because otherwise this add line note option is not available. But with that, you can also create notes. And like I said, ideal to explain something in a report. Going back into edit mode of the report, some other tips that I wanted to share with you, and I think this is really useful. So imagine you have multiple P&L reports, but in each of those P&L reports, you want to use the same structure, the account structure. And you don't want to go and set them up individually in each of the reports, right? Because that just takes time. So for that, and not a lot of customers are using this, so that's why I'm pointing it out. But there's this reusable report function where you can set up both on the column axis and on the row axis a certain format of a P&L, for instance, where you can combine accounts coming from your P&L, metrics, but also things like blank spaces and things like that. So these are very useful. You can save them in a central place, and then you can use them within your reports. The fourth thing that I wanted to highlight is the ability to make snapshots. So if you really want to save a certain point in time, you can create a snapshot straight from the report, save them in with a specific name, description, and also save them in reports so you can find them later. Another way to do this, if you would go into the report overview, you can also go and open up the little hamburger menu from a report and create a schedule from there. And this schedule can be something that can be run daily or weekly or monthly, and can be something that's sent to specific users within the system. And you can choose the action, so it can be a snapshot that is sent on a frequent basis, or a report notification, or really sent as an attachment. So these features also saving time getting the reports to the right people. So that was it for reporting. Dashboards. Two things that I want to highlight. This is quite a new feature. You can add reports on dashboards. So really good if you are planning, in this case, for workforce planning, for instance, and you want to look at certain KPIs and graphs based on that data. But if you want to compare versions, look at variances based on that data input, then adding a report to a dashboard can be super helpful. Second part on dashboarding in regards to reporting is the ability to create filters. I find them really useful when I'm demoing, for instance. And within a filter, you can select a couple of things. Let me just create a new filter set. And what you can select is really depending on the dimensions that you have on a particular dashboard. So in this case, I can change my total company and the currency. So let's say we're going to create a filter set for operations, and let's also call this operations. But if you would have extra dimensionality in here, or if you would be using level attributes or dimension attributes, you can also include them in a filter set. A third thing, it's not really on my list, but just thinking about it, what you can also do since the last release is create comments on graphs, where you can actually use the add icon to tag certain users within your adaptive instance. And then these users will get a notification of a certain thread where they are attached. So you can really have conversations on the data in the dashboard straight away. So let's move into OfficeConnect. I have a standard board package in here. And I want to highlight a couple of things. So first, the ability to use filters within the dashboard, within the OfficeConnect file. And a filter will make the OfficeConnect file more dynamic. So all of the elements within Adaptive you can use as a filter. So most commonly used are things like levels and versions, and how you get them into a filter is by going into worksheet filters, select where you want to filter, press OK, and then on the left-hand side within the filter section, you can see the filter showing up. So what we see right here is that I've selected company A. But if I, for instance, only want to look at my operations data and select that, then when I hit refresh, then automatically the data will change in a way that I can look at the operations data only. Next up, I want to explain to you a little bit on how you can drill down into rows. So in this row, it's a GL count, product revenue for product group A. But what you can actually do is you can also drag and drop dimensions and level attributes into the rows, and that will allow you to drill down into those. So if you hit right mouse on the cell, you can go and open the OfficeConnect menu, and then you can choose to expand. And when I hit expand, then Adaptive is going to ask me, okay, so on what dimension do you want to drill down further and you want to use for your analysis? So what I did is I included my department dimension. So when I drill down into that, then I will actually see my departments by row for the product revenue. So really for some ad hoc analysis, this is great, but also if you want to create multi-dimensional reports and if you want to make sure that new dimensions values are automatically added, this is great functionality. And then last but not least, repeated reports. This is also available within HTML reporting. And how it works is, the concept of it is you create a repeating report and you choose what you want to use as an element to create tabs in this case. So from here, I might want to drill down into all of the regions that I have rolling up to operations. And for each of the regions, I want to have this same expenses report, same columns, same versions. And I don't want to create them by tab because that would just simply take me too much time. So therefore, I can ask OfficeConnect to create it automatically for me. So just wait a couple of seconds. Each tab now represents the regions that are rolling up to operations. So really, really useful. All right, just to wrap things up, like I explained, HTML reporting really good during the process during the budgeting process, during the planning process, to do checks and analysis. Dashboarding is more visual and also really good if you're creating what if scenarios, for instance, and you want to combine data input with data output. And last, OfficeConnect, distribution of reports, and really in a familiar format. So with that, we've come to an end. On YouTube, on our Revelwood YouTube channel, all of the recordings of the webinars are there. So if you want to look back at some of the webinars, then I would suggest you go and have a visit. And yeah, thanks for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day, and hope to see you soon.